Happy to be joined by UFC flyweight Matheus Nicolau, who's going to be back in action UFC Fight Night, October 19th. Matheus, how are you, man?
Good, James. How about you? Thank to be here back in talking to you and with a fight schedule soon. Just got in October, so 18 days for the victory day.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And finally, you and I are on the same time zone. You were telling me before we set this up that you're actually in California. How long have you been out there?
Yeah, I'm here in Cali for almost like 3 months, around 3 months. I just made this change and I'm living here. I'm in Torrance near Redondo. I'm training at the Spirit. My first jiu-jitsu professor just he runs the gym, a jiu-jitsu gym here for over 15 years, and he just moved up location. And the new gym's really nice. So I'm training my grappling part over here. I'm living close to him, and also training my all of my MMA game in Irvine at Tinhoyama.
Oh,
So I
cool.
found a really good team. Yeah, how life it is right now. Just training with my former opponent, my last opponent team, Alex Perez. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying the training. I'm here in Cali now, and yeah, that's it.
That's great. So many things I got to ask about that, which is
Yeah.
so interesting. So how did it come together? Why did you choose, like you mentioned, your jiu-jitsu coach? How did it come together with you training at Team Oyama? Was that through Alex or how did that come about?
Yeah, yes. So I have a really close friend who lives with him in Vegas. I even went to his house before we have the fight schedule and stuff. And I have this my first jiu-jitsu professor who runs the gym here. So I was always thinking about to move here around, be training with him, maybe teaching sometimes in his gym and stuff like that. And then it happened that Alex told that they have Tiyama around, and I came to check. Alex was getting ready for his fight against
Tyra?
the Japanese, yes.
Yeah, Tyra. Yep.
And yeah, he was really nice guy. It was like right after we fought, and then I came here, check it out. I really like the training. I really like the environment. I really like the coach Oyama, how he works and everything. And everything got together, and I just made the move.
Okay. So yeah, big move. Obviously, how different is it living in California compared to Brazil for you? Has it been much of an adjustment?
Yeah, that was actually one of the things that I want to make a change, like everything that comes together with life. I was already in Rio de Janeiro for a long time, so already used to all my daily stuffs over there. So I want to, make some improvements, different training partners, different challenges. Being here, speaking only English all the time. This is also another thing that we evolve. I think I'm totally out of my comfort zone, which is good. I was looking for it right now. Not that I was in my comfort zone before, like on the train. That is actually one of the most difficult part of my last match because I felt really ready. I felt on my best, on my prime, and didn't went the way I wanted. So that was one of the hardest parts. So like, I have no excuse. So I made this change and it's been great, man. I like it so far. Like I say, it's not easy for sure. Like away from home, other language all the time, but the training really hard. That the most important thing, of course. And I'm happy and ready.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear. Yeah, we'll see how the change works out for you in this fight, and a good opponent here in Asu, 20-2 record. How do you feel like stylistically you match up against him?
I think it's a great match. He's of course a tough opponent, really good grappling game, tricky to fight. He's small but really explosive, explosive hands as well. But I think my game fits with his game. Like I said in the beginning of this training camp, I from Nova Union, and I learned since the beginning. Jose Aldo teach us how to fight against wrestlers, right? People that want to put you down. And so I have this as a strong point, and I'm wanna prove that on the fight. I for sure, even if his strategy can change a little bit, like oh maybe he wants to strike him a little bit more and stuff like that, but he's really good and strong wrestler. So I think this will be inevitable, and when it happen, I gotta be ready, and I will
Uh,
be.
And you mentioned doing the training at Team Oyama and everywhere else. We talked about Alex Perez, your former opponent. Who else are you getting to work with as far as training partners?
So I'm going to San Diego once in a week every Thursday to train with J Flow. I make the group class, so a lot of beasts out there. And after the group class, we do private. And I also have my friend Gianni. Gianni have been helping me a lot. He's also MMA flyweight veteran, really good guy. He's like right close to the UFC for sure, and he's been helping me a lot, not only on the MMA, but he's coming to San Diego as well. That's how I met him before. There was a deal to come here. I met him when I was training in San Diego with J Flow. And so everything was getting together little by little, and he's been one of my main training partners for sure. He's gonna be there on the fight week with me. And yes, and Tiyoyama, there's a lot of good guys. Here in Spirit Academy, we have Rodrigo Freitas, my grappling coach. We have Gabriel, which is my friend from Belo Horizonte, is training with me. High level jiu-jitsu black belt, who's helping on my grappling game as well. So for sure, gonna go very strong. Really prepare for this one.
And it must be nice too, not long to travel, right? You're used to coming from Brazil and obviously making those big trips to the US. Vegas is very close to California, so you got to like that as well. That's got to be another perk.
Yeah, for sure. I was talking about that last weekend with a friend. Like right now, I'm 4 hours driving from Vegas. I used to be like 16 hours flying because you always fly to Miami or you go to Texas to go to Vegas, and it's always tough. You kind of lose 1 or 2 days by traveling and getting used to the time and stuff like that. So for sure, just one of the perks, and I want to take the best from it. I want to get that a little sooner, like 10 days before, get used to the weather, Vegas weather, because always it's kind of is. Of course, is more similar to California than it is Brazil, but it's still a little different. No more dry out there, so I wanna be used to everything and ready to perform my best.
Who's making the trip with you for your corner? Who will be in the cage with you now that you've switched things up a bit?
Yeah, it will be me, Luana, my partner in crime, Coach Oyama, and Gianni Vasquez. So this will be my corner. We will have a strong team over there. And also, I have a lot of friends in Vegas. Pedro Falcão is there for sure. He's going to be helping me on training on the last week. Matheus Nicolau, my friend, is over there as well. For sure, going to have some strong group over there to help us.
How do you see this fight playing out on October 19th? How do you see it going down?
Man, the only thing that I can imagine is my arm raise. Doesn't matter how it is by knockout, submission, point. Doesn't matter. I'm ready for everything. I really need this victory. And that's only thing that I can think about. There's no perfect way. The perfect way is to get my arm raised, and that's what's gonna to happen.
Yep. No, absolutely. Big fight coming up here. Always got to ask you about a couple other fights like we usually do. I like to pick your brain on this stuff. And this is brought to you by HKUSA. Great fighter apparel clothing. Use the code BANANA20 to get 20% off. Okay, Matthias, let's start first with Robert Whitaker and Hamzat Chimaev. It's a big fight at middleweight. How do you see that fight going down?
Yeah, it's an awesome fight. We're gonna see how Shimaev gonna do against Whitaker. Huge statistics on the takedown defense. It's gonna be hard, and he has a really good like distance. I love Whitaker's game. I'm gonna go with him because I want him to win. But it's a really, really dangerous fight for sure. It'll be an awesome fight to watch.
Do you think he wins, though? I think people feel if the fight goes a bit longer than the first or second round that Whitaker's got a good chance. Who do you think will win the fight?
I go with Whitaker. I go with
Okay.
Whitaker, especially with his last performance. He got a really good guy, and he just finished right away. He's been doing good, and I go with him.
Max Holloway, Ilya Taporia, who's winning the featherweight title.
That's a hard one. I go with Leah. I like his style, his boxing style, his aggressiveness. He's a really, really tough challenge, of a board. Of course, this is not deniable. We're talking about Max Holloway. Probably is gonna be the biggest challenge of Topuria's career so far. It's difficult to say that because Volkanovski beat
Holloway, yeah.
Holloway 3 times, but anyway, I think because of the style, the size of Holland is really difficult, but I go with Ilya.
Okay, a couple more quick ones here. Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, the rematch. Who's winning that?
Yeah, Charles, I go with Charles again. I think it's gonna finish. I don't know if it's submission or knockout, but I go with Charles.
John Jones and Stipe. Who's winning the heavyweight title?
John Jones. Jones is the goat. You know, I can go with him.
Okay, and last one, they just rebooked it. Aljamain Sterling is fighting Movsar Ivoyev in the featherweight division. Who do you see winning that one?
Oh, this is a very good one, trick one, difficult to say. Ultra man is that thing, man. Every time that I go against him, he won. And the last fight, I thought was a difficult fight for him, going to the featherweight against a really good striker, but he did awesome. Tricky game, both very good grapplers, but I go with Alderman because all of the history and stuff like that. But very difficult fight.
Do you have a couple fights left on your contract? I was trying to remember. I know we spoke a few fights ago when you got the new contract. So are you still on the old
Yeah, I have.
contract or what's the latest?
Yeah, no, it's still on the same. I have two more to go, and yes, but that's the thing. Like right now, I always have this mentality that the next fight is the most part of my life, but this is the most part of my life for sure. Coming from two defeats, the first time that I have this scenario. But yeah, I think I perform my best when I'm on this kind of scenario,
Mhm.
and I'm ready to do my best, get this victory, and maybe get a new contract.
There's a lot of things going on in your division right now. A lot of interesting news. The first one, since you and I haven't had a chance to speak about it, what did you think of Muhammad Mokaev leaving the UFC and going to Brave? What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm never happy when you lose guys like that, was the same when DJ went to one,
Mhm.
I don't think special on the flyweight. I think we need the best here. And he showed that he is one of the best. Maybe you don't like his style, maybe you don't think he's pretty, maybe I don't know, but you cannot deny the guy is in the field. And also he has everything that looks like is important to have. He has a big media behind him, a lot of followers. He's talk some good trash like the way the people like, and he's hugging people. But whatever, Khabib hug people, and everybody love to watch him fight. So uh, I was not happy with that, but it is what it is. I don't know exactly what happened behind the curtains.
Mhm.
Something happened for sure. I don't know how difficult he was to deal with and stuff like that. But talking about the martial arts, I think he would be great to have him in the division, possibly to fight him in the future. So I was not happy with that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe he can back in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see there. But saying that, it sounds, I mean, it's not official yet, but it does sound like Kaya Sakura from Risen is coming to the UFC. Did you hear about that? The rumor is he might be fighting Pantoja. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's awesome when we have some big names come to the flyweight division. I think we need that. We need to put the flyweight division on the top. I don't know if it's fair if he's fighting with Pantoja right away, but that's not my job as well. Let's see
Right.
what
Yeah.
they're gonna do.
Mhm.
And yeah, man, whatever. Just think that is good to have some big names come to the flyweight. And if he's gonna fight Pantoja, let's see. I always cheering for Pantoja, my home Pantoja, training him, an awesome guy. I always cheering for him. I hope he maintain the belt.
My last question. We talked about you living in California now. What are you getting up to when you're not training? Have you got to see much of what's going on in California, or what are you up to when you're not training and competing and all that stuff?
Yeah, so at the beginning I was here, I had no fight schedule, so all the weekends we was going to the beach.
Oh,
Kind of
nice. Okay.
Brazilian thing, right? Like because it
Yeah.
was in the summer here, the timing was really good. I even get some sunburn at the beginning because it was
Okay.
not that hot. I oh no, the sun is good, but man, I got some sunburn. So it was really nice. Play a lot of games in the beach and stuff like that. I like to give some walks and know the city. There's a lot of parks here. I like to go to some parks and maybe sit down over there and stay a little bit with Luana. And also, I like to play Altinha. I don't know if you know what it is. like the Brazilian game, they usually have four people and they use the feet to keep the
Okay.
ball up, you know,
I
like
haven't
before
heard of it,
out.
but I'll have to check it out after this interview.
I'm
Have to
gonna
look into it.
send you
Sounds fun.
some videos,
Yeah, you
some
send
high
me on
level
WhatsApp. Yeah.
videos. You're gonna see it's nice. I like to do this as well on the parking. And I'm new in the city. When I have more time, for sure, gonna make some trip. There's a lot of beautiful things around. You know, if you drive like 2, 3, 4 hours, you have Yosemite, like I think 4 hours from here. So I wanna know a lot of different places around.
And still making time for interviews. I always appreciate it, Matthias. It's a big fight, UFC Fight Night, October 19th. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Awesome. Thank you. Always a pleasure talking to you, James. Thank you for your time as well. Thank everybody who's watching, always cheering for me. I want to thank all of my training partners, all of my Nova União team from Brazil. I love everybody over there. It's one of the best team in the world for sure. I want to thank everybody from Team Oyama. Everybody over there is together preparing me to get on my peak performance to get this victory, and we're gonna get it. And everybody here from Spirit Academy here in Redondo Beach for sure. And that's it. Let's go. I'm doing my best every day, and we are gonna get this victory.